Don't you look comfy?
Well, it's my day off.
Come again?
Today's episode, AJ's day off, so I'm relaxing.
You know it's about Applejack's day off, right?
Meh, I just heard best pony.
Maybe background pony. Okay, here it is, the second episode by the Fox brothers. Still not related. And they team up with Neil Dustor. That Johnny Test writer. Infamous for his work on Princess Spike and What About Discord. So yeah, we are up to a good start. Great, I was actually looking forward to this episode. But now we get another one of Neil's masterpieces. Well, okay, to be fair, the opening gag with Rarity waiting for Applejack in the steam bath was actually pretty funny.
When Applejack finally shows up, the spot's about to close and...
She looks like Deadpool.
Bah. Personally, I thought the movie was overrated. Hey. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Trauma caused all unicorns aside. Let's just focus on this nightmare fuel. Though on another note, who knew our horns could get so squishy?
It happened before in Brittle Gossip.
Well, that was caused by magic, so it doesn't count. Then we get Spike, Twilight, and Rarity heading to the farm with empty pie pans. As if Applejack didn't have enough to do. She better be paid well, and we really are denied what would have been an obvious pie-in-the-face bit.
As it turns out, Applejack has some history of calling off Rarity. She seemingly has to work a lot on her farm, which by all means is a valid excuse, yet it's still very easy to relate in Rarity in this situation. While she is salty throughout the episode about Applejack not spending some time with her, and might seem a little bit egocentric, it's understandable. I have a few friends as well I never managed to hang out with because they work so much. And sometimes I get the feeling that they deliberately ignore me and their work is just a cheap excuse. I know this isn't true, but these folks tend to creep up once in a while. After some arguing, Twilight and Spike offer to do some of AJ's chores so she can relax for an hour. Well, or rather, one chore. To feed the pigs. Celestia knows why Applejack keeps pig around. It's not like they eat them or anything. I'm also kinda surprised that Applejack let Spike work on the farm again, considering how well that worked out last time. And that's it for Twilight and Spike for the most part. We don't see a lot of them in this episode, and we spend the majority at the spa.
And then we find out Rainbow Dash goes to the spa too. To which Applejack finds it funny, even though she's tomboyish too. And speaking of which, when did these two even go to the spa? I mean, Fluttershy and Rarity, I get when they had their episode, but Applejack and Rarity at the spa? I appreciate the shipping fuel, but it felt a little hard for me to swallow at the time.
Which is a second joke that made me somewhat chuckle, but only slightly.
And then we get some background ponies, and Spoiled Rich.
Oh great, they literally included worst pony in this episode. Rosie!
The conflict within the spa is that there's a steam pipe broken. As such, there isn't enough steam for the steam room.
And no one notices. I assume it's the janitor's day off. Applejack, stubborn as she is, can't just lay back and enjoy some other services within the spa and has to fix the problem, much to Rarity's annoyance. And that's fine. It perfectly fits AJ's character, she is practical-minded and in a sense it is also in Rarity's interest that someone fixes that problem. However, the problem I have with that is the whole sequence drags on forever and nothing particular funny happens. That would have been a great opportunity to show Twilight and Spike screwing up some labor chores, but instead we get pointless filler.
Oh, thank God, they got it fixed, but with no time to enjoy the day. Then we see the return of incapable Twilight, unable to feed the pigs, and it certainly doesn't do anything to improve Applejack's character.
Then AJ acts crazy. Why are you hitting yourself?
I am confused. It's super effective.
Okay. Well, the last montage breaks the episode, otherwise it would have been simply boring. But now it's downright bad. AJ does so many unnecessary things that it defies any common sense. It's not really funny, it just seems dumb.
So it would seem Applejack has her own unique way of doing things. Which, to be fair, she does, or rather did have a reason for them. Although, it seems a bit odd at least for what the moral is. However, as someone who is often told how bad all shortcuts are, sometimes they can be handy, like, for example, Trickey. In your collabs, you tend to have both you and your partner on the screen all the time.
Yeah?
Well, if you only have one of us at a time while we're speaking, like this, and occasionally cut to a full clip of the episode like this, then you will save plenty of time for cool effects like this.
I see where you're coming from, but I would like to point out that I don't use a blank background in my video, so I would have to zoom in if I were to show only one person at a time. Not to mention that it allows me to add visual expressions of someone who isn't talking, and thus increasing the immersion. I also tend to avoid to show full screen episode clips, as it is less likely to get copyright claims that way. And last but not least, it's my own visual style, which is anything but unnecessary.
Well, I suppose it's also a lesson in, sometimes, some things are done certain ways because they work.
But she came up with new steps in her routine after she realized that the old one doesn't work anymore. The spa ponies were oblivious to the problem at Hoof and stuck with the routine because they didn't realize what the problem actually is. AJ fixes her problems and still tries to fix them afterwards. And I'm only talking about her pick routine. How did she get used to the other activities in the first place? The way she handles things doesn't make any sense. The moral itself is actually pretty fine. Sometimes you get used to the wrong way of doing things or get stuck in a routine in general. And sometimes you need someone else to point out the obvious. Heck, if that wasn't the case, no one would need critics. You don't always see what you're doing wrong. But it just doesn't work here, as you cannot relate to AJ.
Fair enough. Iced tea, still my day off.
Are we talking Long Island?